Powered by Riverside FM.
All right, so our next guest is born and raised in Northeast Ohio and played college football here as well. A fan favorite during his stint with the Browns due to his local roots, he is one of the only Browns players and possibly the only Browns players that also played for our local arena football team when it existed, the Cleveland Gladiators. Boys, please help me welcome Steve Sanders. Yeah. All right, Steve, thanks for joining us. How are you, my guy?
Man, I'm doing well. Thanks for that introduction, man. It made me sound like I did something, actually. So it made me feel a little good, man. So excited to be on with you guys today.
Man, don't sell yourself short.
Hey, you play in the league. You did something.
Right. You got
Absolutely.
Any stats are more stats than we have, you know? So
exactly. That's usually how I kind of tee it up. But excited to be on with you guys, man. I'm a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan, so it's good to talk a little sports. And thank God it is football season, so I'm ready to talk a little bit of football.
Yeah, before we get into some of the questions that we have for you that are more football related, we do want to talk about one thing here. You are going to be on the Browns fan cruise in March of 2024. It has been confirmed, floating in the middle of the ocean, then stopping at Nassau and Jamaica with us. And so we have to say, being that we are brought to you by the Cleveland Browns fan cruise, we're the podcast of the Browns fan cruise. We're going to be on the Browns fan cruise. We're going to be emceeing the events on the fan cruise. We are really, really looking forward to sharing that fan cruise with a former player such as yourself. So can you tell the listeners just a little bit about the fan cruise here?
Yeah, man, this is exciting. To me, it's the first that I've ever heard of, a fan cruise kind of, bringing all the fans together and kind of being out at sea with all these different activities and things to do, man. So I'm excited about it, honored to be a part of it. Again, like I said, man, lifelong Cleveland Browns fan, born and raised in Cleveland. So I grew up watching the Browns and now getting the chance to, post-career, still even be involved as a Browns alumni is exciting. So I can't wait to sail away with you guys, man. So all the fans that are going to come out and support, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of activities planned and things like that I get to be a part of too as well. So I'm excited. Once again, looking forward to kind of being on with you guys too as well.
Hell yes. Awesome. And we'll come back to the Browns fan cruise here a little bit later on, but for now I do want to get into this and talk a little bit about you for all the fans here. As I mentioned during my introduction, you are born and raised in Ohio, and in fact you went to school in Cleveland. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I grew up in Cleveland all my life, so being a young kid who just, loved football. I remember, getting a chance to watch my first Browns game. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I was probably, 7 or 8 or something like that. And I think I saw the Browns playing Pittsburgh, and I think that may have been one of the games where Eric Metcalf took back 2 punts or something. And, it's funny. My brother was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So he was telling me to root for the team in black and gold. And I was like, no, I like this Brown team. So I remember watching those guys and yeah, exactly. And then, that's all I ever wanted to be. When I grew up, I wore number 21, cause I thought Eric Metcalf was like the coolest thing ever. So I got a chance to, play as a kid in inner city Cleveland, played Little League, went on to play high school, excel, became an All-American. And in track. And in fact, that's how I, really got a chance to play football because I was like one of those kids that got looked over because I came from inner city Cleveland, but I was all state and all those things like that. But Urban Meyer was actually just got the head coaching job at Bowling Green State University. And he came to Cleveland looking for some athletes, and coach over at Glenville, Ted Ginn Sr., he's like, all my guys are already committed. But you may want to go take a look at this kid over at Cleveland East. And I had a track meet coming up. So he came and watched me run hurdles, and the rest is history. He said, if that kid can run that fast, I can teach him how to play football. So didn't even see me play football. They got, they gave me a scholarship based upon my athletic ability jumping over hurdles. But, I was a pretty good football player too as well. And high school. So got a chance to go on to Bowling Green State University and did pretty well. Became a all-time leader in a few different stats and receivers, and then went on to get a chance to join the Cleveland Browns as an undrafted free agent.
That's amazing. That's the dream, right? Every little boy's dream. You have your favorite sports teams and your favorite players, and you dream of putting on that uniform. Can you talk about just like what was that moment like when you finally got to put like pen to paper, put that jersey on for the Browns?
Yeah, man, it was a dream come true. Honestly, it's hard to put it into words, man. But I remember the first time I walked on the field. We were warming up and getting ready and everything like that, and I really had that moment where it hit me like, wow, I'm actually, playing in the NFL, and I'm playing for the Cleveland Browns, the team I've grown up watching, and now I'm on the field. And it was in pregame warm up, and Phil Collins, I can feel it in the air tonight, came on. And he's singing, and I can feel it, and then all of a sudden that beat drops and the drum, boom, 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 boom. That was the moment. I was like, oh man, this is it. Like let's go, man. So I remember that my first game, getting the opportunity to play, for first couple seasons, I was a practice squad guy, just working my butt off, man, just trying to impress coaches, impress GMs, and anybody I could. I was one of those guys who just brought my lunch pail with me every day. I was the first guy on the field before practice, doing different things. I was the last guy off the field, working with the quarterbacks, just trying to make myself visible and just working on anything I could. So got the opportunity to become start a game and be an active roster in about 2008. So that was pretty cool just to get that experience of kind of a kid who really was undrafted, and then ultimately staying on a team and working my way up, and then getting the opportunity to play.
And you played, there's so many Browns coaches, I think, in the last 20 years. You played under Romeo, correct? During your time?
Yeah. So I played under Romeo. Yeah, a lot of coaches in that time frame, but yeah.
I mean, can you speak to just Romeo, just as a person, just as a coach, and maybe your relationship with him during that time?
Yeah, man, Romeo got a raw deal, man. I think Romeo was an amazing coach. He was a good guy. A lot of people, obviously criticize him for being too good of a guy. They wanted him to be, tougher on the players. He wanted them to be, a little bit more, strict, or I guess, yelling, and that just wasn't his personality. And he came from a place where, he was with the New England Patriots, and he won just with the same type of attitude that he had, and went on to have some success after the Browns. So, I thought Romeo was a really good coach, gave me an opportunity, always had much respect for him. And even after he left the Browns and was Kansas City Chiefs, I still, stayed in contact with him too as well. So I just know that he was a good coach, and I like Romeo personally, one of the best coaches that I ever played for, actually.
I think he's one of the winningest. I mean, in the stretch here since the new Browns have been back.
And I will say you hit on a point too that I agree with. I mean, love him or hate him as a coach, I think it could you kind of see through it and into the locker room a little bit that Romeo was a really good guy. So regardless of how fans felt about him,
it seemed like players liked him
as a coach. Yeah, I would agree with you that he kind of got a raw deal, and it was hard to see him go the way that he did. So.
Yeah. I mean, 10-6 that one season in 2007, man, 6 Pro Bowl guys. And, we were, one play away or one first down away or whatever it was from the Colts and I want to say it was the Colts and the Jets or Colts and Bengals. I can't remember who it was, but I know the Colts were involved, and they benched Peyton Manning, and we were all like, oh man, we needed them to win. And if they would have won, we would have went to the playoffs that year. Would have changed a lot. So, you know what I mean? It's a game of inches, man. That's the thing about the NFL that a lot of, people may not understand is that, the little things that can happen that can turn, everything around, or can go in the opposite direction. You just have to continue to try to overcome adversity.
That was the Jim Sorgi game, right?
Yeah, I know. Kenny points to that 10-6 season a lot. I think that's one of Kenny's fondest memories is the year that you guys were 10-6. He just fondly remembers it and talks about it a lot.
It was a good team. It was a fun team to watch.
Spending time with the franchise, obviously, it's more than just playing football. You become involved with your teammates off the field or even your community. With that in mind, what's one of your favorite off-field memories from your time here in Cleveland?
Man, off the field, man, we had a lot of good times, man. Cleveland was a city that was just rocking around that time. LeBron was in the city, just starting his career out, and
that was right around
Cavs were
finals
booming.
times for the Magic and stuff, wasn't it? 2008 was
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, it was a lot going on in the city, but I can just remember, my boy Cribbs, shout out to my boy Josh Cribbs, man. We developed a bond, man, and became good friends. And I remember, being on his show, what was the show called? Josh's Cribs.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And being on Cribbs' show was pretty fun because it gave us something to look forward to doing, during the week outside of, practice and everything like that. Cause I think we shot a lot during season. So, the wide receiver group that we had at that particular time was a pretty tight knit group. We all hung out together, did a lot of things in the city, went to dinner and things like that. So it was always those things that I think I remember. I remember giving back a lot, taking, old equipment from the guys who, would wear it one time and, about to throw it away. And I'd be in the locker room with boxes like, hey, can you throw that in here? And grabbing guys' old gloves, old cleats and things like that. And then going and donating them to local high schools, and it would be funny because they really appreciated it. And, their colors were like, blue and yellow. And they were out there with orange and white cleats on. But they didn't care because they had something that the Browns had wore. So, something like the little things like that are things that I remember a lot about, is just being able to give back in a way where I know it meant a lot to them because I was that same kid that was, looking up to the Browns players at that particular time when I was younger.
That's awesome. I mean, that had to be so special for those kids. I mean, to have somebody come in and bring in game-worn equipment. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then kind of along those same lines of different memories and things like that, and just experiences that you had. You did, you were with several different teams. You've alluded to and mentioned how you worked really hard to make sure you stayed on that active roster, and did those things. You actually bounced to a couple different leagues as well. So do you have any advice to especially the younger players that are on the Browns team right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, to those guys that are trying to make the team, everybody knows the draft pick guys. Everybody knows, the guys who, make the big money, you know what I mean? But the team in the league actually is made up of guys who are, fighting for a spot every single day. So, to those guys that are trying to, earn that spot, earn that opportunity, you got to come to work every single day. You gotta have a mindset that you got to be the first guy out, last guy in. And if you do that, that hard work pays off. You never know who's watching you. You never know who sees you out there putting in that work. And sometimes that's the difference. Everybody's got talent. If you make it to the NFL, you have some level of talent. So everybody has that level of talent to be in the room. But again, it's a numbers game. So sometimes a lot of those guys don't make it because of the numbers. But if you can just do one little thing that can separate you from somebody else, and give you an opportunity to stay on, another week, another 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, things happen, injuries happen, whatever it may be. You make a big play in practice. Coach gives you an opportunity to get on the field, and you got to take it and run with it. You see all those different stories around the league where you get those guys who, maybe an undrafted guy. I remember somebody like Victor Cruz on the Giants. Guy was undrafted, and then all of a sudden he's in the Super Bowl catching, Super Bowl touchdowns and things like that. So, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So you hear about those stories, and they're few far in between. But again, you strive for it. You try to work your butt off to get to that opportunity, and I think that's what Cleveland is all about to me. We're blue collar town. Everybody works with what they have. You try to help people where you can, but you really bring your lunch pail every single day and just go to work. So I think that's what represents Cleveland well.
Was there a moment, or maybe a mentor, coach, or just anyone in your life that helped you realize that you had that kind of potential, like NFL potential, right? Like it's a different level. I mean, at some point you go, most of us, the game outruns us. But what was there a moment that you go, I'm absolutely capable of being in this league, or was there someone that helped you understand that about yourself?
Yeah, man, there were two moments actually. So the first was I was in high school. I was a senior in high school. I was playing at East High School over there on 79th in Superior. And one of the former Browns players came to our practice. and he came out, and I'm losing his name right now. I want to say it was, God, he's Antonio Brown's uncle. You guys know what I'm talking about. He played. If you look it up, you'll remember. But anyway, he was a safety, I want to say, and he came out to practice, and he said, who's the best guy on this team? And everybody's saying me, and whatever. And he looked at me and said, "Are you the best guy on this team?" I was like, "You know what? I like to think I am." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I work the hardest. Nobody out here can outwork me." And he was like, "That's the mentality that's going to get you somewhere." So I kept that with me. And then he said, only one of you guys are going to make it. He's like, "I hate to be the one to give you that harsh reality, but that's the statistics. For the NFL players, less than 1% of guys make it. So if it's 100 guys out there playing and trying to make it in high school, maybe one guy gets that opportunity to get to the NFL." So I just kept that in the back of my head and worked hard. And then the second thing was when I got to college, almost, pretty much got sent home. My grades weren't good. I was a guy that worked really hard, but wanted to kind of party and experience college a little bit too early before I became a guy that was on the field making plays. So Urban Meyer had left and went to Utah. And then a new coaching staff came in. Actually, our offensive coordinator got the head coaching job. But my wide receiver coach, shout out to Zach Azzani. Zach Azzani really told me that I had the talent. I had the ability. I just needed to prove it. I just needed to get out there and work my butt off and prove it. And Zach Azzani is now the wide receiver coach for the New York Jets. So he's been around, guys that he's coached, and he was a wide receiver coach for the Denver Broncos, and so he's been around a lot of guys. I stay in contact with him too as well. But those were kind of two moments in my life where I was like, okay, I got the talent. I just got to go out there, put the work in, and continue to improve and get better.
Awesome, and that's all such great insight to kind of the league and the trials and tribulations that you all go through every single day while you're grinding to make the teams or excel once you make it to that active roster. So it's awesome to hear, especially from a former Brown. But for most of the guys in the NFL, they do get this sort of this life after football. And so that's what I want to kind of start talking about now. Is your life after football. So can you tell us what you're up to today, and are you still involved with the game at all?
Yeah, man. So what I'm up to today is actually my wife and I own a medical company. We own a company called Intercommunity Health. We're licensed in 3 states. Business is good. In the behavioral health, trying to help as many people as we can in the mental health space. And doing really good, hiring doctors, hiring physicians that work for us. So it's a great opportunity for us to help a lot of people that are having mental health challenges. Then I also have a nonprofit organization called Training Camp for Life, developing champions in sports and in life. So I wrote a book called Training Camp for Life, and then I turned it into a nonprofit organization. So really just giving back to athletes, student athletes, parents, coaches, anyone who is around the game at a youth level and a high school level and even a college level. So getting that opportunity to help those student athletes and teaching them everything that they learn in the sport they can apply to the other areas of their lives. So that's a cool thing to do at this time, post-career too as well. And then the last thing I'll say is just got involved with Nike football and Nike football camps, I should say, and helping out with Nike football camps, overseeing some of those, leading and directing camps. I flew out to Alaska a few weeks ago and ran a Nike football camp out there. So so just kind of all over, man. And but everything that I try to do is always around to some degree helping people in different areas of their lives.
In parts of Alaska right now, it's like the almost 24 hours of sunshine right now, I believe. So it was a long day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, man. So first time ever being out there, man. So it was cool, but it was like 11:30 at night, and it looked like it was maybe 7 p.m.
Yep.
The sun was just about to go down, but it didn't go down.
Yep. Fun fact, and I don't know what part of Alaska it is, but they do a baseball game, a youth baseball game every year, and it's the no lights game because it literally stays sunny for 24 hours. So, wow. So they started at midnight and they have enough light all through the game to play. So, pretty cool. But now to I'm just going to bring this back to the time that we'll get to share with you on the open ocean, and a couple amazing stops along the way coming up here in March of 2024. So let's talk about some of the things that everyone should be looking forward to on the inaugural Browns fan cruise. So first of all, what is the event or activity during the entire cruise that you yourself are going to be looking forward to the most?
You know what? I think it's going to be, some level of competition between the alumni. I'm just going to throw this out there, man. I don't think there's a guy that can beat me in running right now. I don't know if we got enough field, out there for us to run on the ship, but, I think that, I pretty much can beat everybody out there, so I think, if we can get an alumni race of some sort, that's the thing I'm going to be looking forward to the most. I know that's not on the schedule, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
We can put it on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I know they're going to be doing when we have the stops, they'll be doing beach games. So maybe we could float the idea and somebody will take it from us.
We may need to bring some hurdles out.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So that's the event that you're looking forward to or hoping for the most. What event do you think or activity do you think that the fans should be most excited about?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not just saying this because I'm on with you guys, but I think they should be looking forward to what you guys are doing, man. The way you guys cover the team, what you've done with the podcast, what you guys are doing. I think you guys have a good following too as well. So I think they're going to be looking forward to being on with you guys and getting in front of you, and the way that you're going to interact with the alumni. That's going to be cool because that's what's going to tee it up. That's what's going to make it fun and interactive. So, we can be a little bit boring. So we get around cool guys like you. You can help us out a little bit and make it exciting for the fans. So that's what everybody's going to want to see. And I'll throw this out there too. That's March 2024. We could be looking at, celebrating the Super Bowl on that boat. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool? The inaugural. That would take everything to a whole nother level.
They're going to have to. They might need two ships.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know. I'm kind of scared. I don't know if we make it back. We be partying so much out there, man. To see if we win the Super Bowl, oh my goodness. But we could be celebrating for sure a really good season because I think the team that we have is going to impress a lot of people. I think they're going to live up to, last year's hype. I think last year we had high expectations, of course, with Deshaun Watson now coming into a full season. And Coach Stefanski's offense and, Nick Chubb, that offensive line is the best offensive line in the league, man. So with all of that, all those weapons and improving on defense, I think that, we're going to make some noise. So I'm excited to be celebrating a good season on that cruise too as well.
I love the optimism. And I got to say, you were making us blush a little bit there.
You shed a tear. Appreciate that.
But real quick here, I do want to shout out. There is a Browns backers organizational, like a competition they're doing for Browns backers organization. So I just want to throw that out there right now. A lot of Browns backers are listening to us. We are the unofficial podcast of Browns backers everywhere. So the chapter with the most bookings will get an all expenses paid balcony cabin for two on the Browns fan cruise. The chapter with the highest members to bookings ratio also gets an all expenses paid ocean view cabin for two. All members of the winning chapter will receive a specialty dining pass for two guests, and all members of the winning chapter will receive a Browns fan cruise commemorative Cleveland Browns autographed football. So with all that being said, and these guys competing for who's the best Browns backers group out there, do you have anything you want to say to the Browns backers across the nation? These are in the world. These are the official members of the Browns backers. You got anything you want to say to them specifically?
Man, I can't wait for you guys to show up. I think you're going to show up and show out. I think these prizes, I'm going to be, excited to see who gets them. But I've been all around the world, man. I've traveled a lot, and I kid you not, I run into Browns fans everywhere. All around the world, you know what I mean? So you're going to find Browns fans everywhere. So the Browns backers are deep. I think they're going to come, and impress and try to, win these prizes. So I'm excited to see who comes out with it.
All right. And then any final words for the rest of Browns Nation as a whole?
You know what, man? I guess I'll close it out like this, man. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. There it is.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Steve. We really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we can't wait to see you on the cruise, man.
Yeah. Time to party.
Oh, man. Absolutely. It's going to be some partying going on for sure, man. So I'll see you guys, the guys out there at C. Can't wait to see all the fans out there at C too as well. It's going to be a great time, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Take it easy.
Thank you.
You're listening to Burning River Sportscast. Go Browns.